Hi, Gordon from Clipper Service in Sweden here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the electric motors on the bigger machines mainly. Sometimes they get blocked up with the old grease and metal particles, and also in rare occasions the bearing going into the electric motor gets damaged. Then I show how to change it. It's really not meant to be changed, but I have a very good method to do it without taking so much effort. I'll show you. This motors is used on the bigger machines, 320, 420, 430, 450, 440, 435, and I think they use it still in the latest models. There come some new models of the motors, but this has been a very long time. So here we have a nice looking one, really nice. You can spin the motor axle and it spins a little bit and it stops. You can feel the magnet like small steps. That's really good. Then it's no problem, then you don't have to do anything. But in this case, here's a lot of black old grease and metal particles and stuff like that. So if I try to turn it, I can't hardly turn it. I can, but it's really hard. And in these cases, the machine will give a fault code on the older machines, like dry motor blocked, because it's too much torque to spin this motor by the machine. So then it could give a fault code. So if you have a fault code, this could be it. Normally when the gears break, there are no fault codes. It's only slipping in the gearbox, not going straight, so to say. So if you have a fault code, this could be it. But in almost all cases the gears are worn too, so it's better to do a repair of the gearbox. So then you have a good machine for many years to come. Yes, then I'll show you how to do it. It's this piece here on the end. It's aluminium piece that's screwed into the electric motor that's in steel. So to take that away, you take away two rubber plugs. It's used to lock the screw so it doesn't loosen and so it can't back out, so you get the play between here, these parts. So it's not so many tools needed here. It's only PH2, 2 screws here in the middle. So we take that away, no big problems. So it's not uncommon for this. This is really extreme, this motor. This is not normal, but in rare cases it could be. So here you can see it's like carbon or grease and metal particles. And this grease and metal particles gets pulled in by the magnetic field of the motor. So it's still really hard to turn. So there is old grease mixed with metal particles inside here, jamming the rotating part of the motor to spin freely. So in here now it's a lot of dirt. So what we do is we open the motor here in this end. It's small tabs. I can show you a little bit closer. Here you see this these parts that are pressed together in some places that we bend out. It's a pretty, this is really good plier for that, but you can use what you have. So you bend this out. Just a little bit, so we can pop the motor part. And the thing is, we can reuse it later. So now I'm only doing it like this. I hope this works. So, and take away the rubber plug here. Here's the end plate with the bearing. Pretty good, but it's best to change it because it's really easy to change when we do this job. And now I take the axle out. Here you see a lot of old fat grease. Check this out. So this is grease particles and metal mixed. So it clings to the magnetic part, so that we must take away. And also the bearing, but we can clean it up first. Scrape it off worst. There's a lot of grease inside here. So it's not so good for efficiency to have a lot of grease between the rotor and stator in the motor. So after this, it should be having a whole lot of more cutting time. I guess this must take half of the energy of the gear motor, and that we don't want. So sometimes it's like this, but most times you don't have to do this. But if you want to do the best, maybe good to do it if it's not spinning as good as this that spins very freely. Then you know you have a good working motor for many years to come. So now it's pretty clean. Take a little bit more. And it's also magnetic, so you have to place it to something with not so much metal particles. So I put it here on my toolbox. And then it's also some debris inside here. We can take a rag. You have to be a little bit careful of this this PCB in here. It's a it's a circuit board connecting the windings with the machine. So we have to be a little bit careful so we don't destroy anything here. But I take this rag, spray it a little bit with brake cleaner, push it in a little bit. Take some compressed air, I think, to blow it out. I'll take an old toothbrush. It's also good to take away dirt with. So now it's clean enough. You can't see that much inside here, but you can see a little bit. It's a little bit cleaner than before. So it shouldn't be any problem with the rotation. But when we have done this, it could be a small thing to change this bearing. It feels, it's not mint, so to say, but it could be working. But now when we done this much with this, it's better we replace it. And sometimes it's actually breaks this bearing, so the balls flies out, and it can lock up, and the motor axle spins inside the bearing, and that's no good. And it will be damaged in a short time. So this bearing here, it's installed here. It's not. You can say it's built around this bearing, so it's really not. It's the first you mount before when you build this motor. Then it's a metal plate inside here, and then you put in the windings. So this metal plate inside here blocks it from getting pushed out this way. That naturally you think you can do, but it's a massive resistance to push it through the hole in this plate, so it will break. This will warp, and you don't even try to take out the windings because you will break it, and you don't want to break it. It's better to fix it. So what I've done sometimes is to grind this ridge off here, so take away the metal end here, so to say, and then put the new bearing in and glue it with the Loctite, and then it's installed with Loctite, and it's no big side loads on that bearing, so it has been working for me. So let's try it to grind it down. You can have like an angle grinder. I think last time I did it with an angle grinder, but this time I tried to do it with this because I think it's a little bit better on film. And some safety measurements. I should have been wearing ear protection too, but I'm renovating my house, so it's inside the house, so I try to do something else. Yes, we'll see how it that worked like a charm. And how it's here's the dirty bearing, and now we can push it out from this side. So now I take my vise here, and I take this and a hammer. Should be okay with a screwdriver or anything like that. Yep, here's the bearing. Pretty easy to knock out. I clean the hole out a little bit for the Loctite to grip a little bit better. Because if it's oil and grease inside here, it won't bite that good, this Loctite. Could be some epoxy glue or something, but as I said, it's no main no big forces involved, so Loctite is fine. And here I have some bearings. It's the same size as in the gearbox on these machines, on the 2014 up to 2020 years. So this we install now. So it's pretty easy work if you do like this. Yeah, you can see how this metal ring, I think it's not so easy to see, it's some millimeters smaller than the outside diameter of the bearing, so it's impossible to drive the bearing through there, then you will break everything. So this is really the only way I have found working. I also clean the bearing because it's also always a little bit oily, so it won't rust. So I do like this, and I have really nice good bearings now in my shop. It's brand bearings that is really high quality and of the right specification, with the right clearance. That's always important too. So now the bearing is so now I put a little bit force on it. And if you want, you can hammer a little bit on the edge here. If you don't, I only took a little bit off, so I have a little bit, so I can hammer it in a little bit on the sides, so it will lock the bearing in. So now we have the new bearing. This is really easy on the bigger machines because the bearing is so big, so you don't have to do anything special with this. It's only to put it in now. So now I put this part in. Good. And then we change this bearing too because it's really easy. So now here we have a spring washer. It's like a waveform on it. So then we put in the bottom. It's to take away the play inside. Here's the bearing, the new bearing. So, and now we also have this rubber seal on the bearings, a little bit better, but will help block the grease from coming in again. And with my kits, it shouldn't be any metal particles that will get into the motor anyway. So now it's only to push this plate into position again. Could be a little bit little work to do that, but now it's seated again. Now it's exactly as this other motor. Take a little bit Loctite here on the edge too. And now it will get soaked into the gap. So now it's really turning freely. So now it's time for this. We can do this first. It's time to hammer this back in position. So every tab here, I hammer again on a little bit with a hammer on at an angle. So I hammer down again these tabs, so to say. So now it's almost finished, this repair. So if you have a motor that's dragging a little bit, or it could be better for the efficiency to do this, but should be clearly visible in the motor test menu in the machine. If you go into the menu and press 7 and 9, I think, 3 seconds, you can enter the tools menu and you can do a motor test. And if it's much above 200 milliamps on full speed, then it's probably needed to do like this. So back in position, it's only possible to do one way, I think. I think it's a little bit hard to get in because I hammered a little bit on the edges. And also it's a little bit Loctite on here. Never hurts. But the rubber, don't forget the rubber parts, because it locks it in place. Also it's like an extra thread lock, so to say. So this should go into place. So now it's really good, exactly like this one. So a little bit of work, but the bearings cost nearly nothing. So then you know you have a really good motor for many years. And this is never any problems. Sometimes only this inside, but it's really easy to repair, as I showed you now. A little bit special way to fix it, but you have to do what you have to do. And when talking about motors and bearings, we have these smaller motors too. This is for 315, I think, something like this, and this is for old 220, but it's the same type of motor, but it's different years. So this is the older ones. I don't really know when they changed to the newer motor, but in early 310, 315 machines, it was this motor. It's I can show you here. It's different shaft size. So this one here has a 1/8 inch shaft, so it's a really special bearing for this one. So I have it in my shop. It's metric outside and inch inside. Really special. So I have it if you need it. It's easier to change on this one than on this one. This is the newer. They have a bigger bearing. You see, it's much bigger in diameter. So it's 4 millimeters inside. So it's pure metric bearing. But this one could be taken out easily, not like this. It could, if you open the end here like I did, then you can only push it out. Then you get the whole rotating part with gear and the bearing on it. Then you have to take away the gear. The gear is installed like this or something like that. And to take it away, I use this puller to pull out the gear, because it's really, if you don't have this puller, which I will have in my shop at a good price, it's really easy to destroy this gear, and it's not easy to find new gears. So if you have this gear puller, you can take it away. It's a little bit you have to push this brass ring a little bit to the side to get the metal between the gear and the brass ring, but it's possible. It's no problem. Then you can take away the gear, and you take away the bearings and put it together again and press on the gear. So it's pretty easy. But on this I have the 4 millimeter shaft, the upgraded version of the motor. You can see the difference here. It's 4 millimeter and 1/8. So it went to that. I think both can have problems with the bearings, so both should be available in the shop to next season. The problem with this one is that you can't take the motor, you can't take this out, because the bearing here is welded. It's like laser welded in here. You can't hardly you can see it if you know it, but I actually didn't see it first time. So I hammered it out, and then the weld cracked. So it's a really small weld, so it let go anyhow. But it's really easy to warp this so it gets bent. So best is to do like on these motors, to grind out the outer ridge here. So you grind down the laser weld, then you can take the bearing out to hammer it out without problems. And it's the same in this end. It's laser welded inside here. So, but with a little violence, I guess you can get it out. But this, if it's not broken, maybe it's better to leave it this part, because mainly the contaminated grease with metal particle goes into the first bearing, the output side where the gear is. So maybe it could be okay to change only that. When we're talking about motors, I think I can show the differences. So you can see on the edge there, it's looks a little bit special, and I suspect it's the laser welding being that has been done. Yeah. So some words about the smaller motors too, but you have to have this this puller, or it makes the work much easier. You can always do in some other way, but it's easy to fail. So I don't recommend doing it without the puller, and it's possible to fix that too, but be careful to not break the gear. So in this case, this is much better. So now we know how to do this. It's no problem to fix this. Pretty easy. This is for a customer with a really bad 450. All gears was really worn. It's crazy big holes in these plastic gears, and this metal gears was really not that good. They are really wobbly. It's over 1 millimeter big in the holes. So this particular motor, everything is fixed. All gears changed. All pins, new axle, longer axle with a reinforced wheel bearing system that I made. So this motor is actually going back in the same motor to the same customer. I have new plastic gears too. It's coming to this season too on these bigger machines. It's really not that often that you need it, but sometimes, like in this case, when it's super big holes in it, then you really need it. It's really rare that the gears gets worn. Sometimes it does, but it's mainly on the smaller machines. That's the problem. Yes, that's, I think, is it for today. I hope you like this motor repair lesson, so to say. So please check shop.klipparservice.se Webshop. It's newly designed now. I have made a lot of changes now. It's not only good parts, it looks very good. So please check it out and keep your stuff together. It's good to be prepared. It's good to do things beforehand, before it breaks. So you should find everything you need there. Thank you very much. Please tell me if you need me to show some other stuff, and I will do it. That's no problem. And next time we'll see what it will be. But I think this is good knowledge for you out there. And a big thank you to all my customers. It's always good to get this inspiration. So thank you very much.